Good morning. It is time for us to do our first sprint. Sorry, I got a little bit into my devotion this morning and I lost track of time. Sorry. I've been up for a while. Pulling up a timer. I've been up for a while dealing with, well, I'll tell you in the break what I've been dealing with. So let's do our 25-minute Pomodoro. If you're new here, we do 25 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of chat on the end, and then we start another one. We do 4 in a row until 10 a.m. So hope you can be productive.
1, go. 3, 2, 1, done.
Done. Alrighty. And look at this nice surprise. Hello,
Hello.
Nichols. Welcome to this morning to the writing experience. So
Can
good.
you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Because, so when you go into StreamYard, you have to make sure that your microphone is not the webcam if you have a headset on. Like,
Yeah.
that's happened to me before. And then people have been like, you sound like you're in a cave.
You sound a little bit like you're in a can, a little bit, but not bad. We can hear you plenty fine.
Oh, good.
Good morning,
Okay.
Melody. It's so nice to have you here. Yeah, this is a music that I use kind of often. I really like this one. And good
Mm-hmm.
morning, Piper. Piper says she's missing the kitty ears, though. It's so sad. All right, so I have a story. Can I tell my story?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear it? It's not writing related, but
Well, yeah.
so Saturday morning, think it was Saturday morning. It must have been Saturday morning. Otherwise, I would have told this on Friday. Saturday morning, I go outside. I'm outside with my, and it's not actually the morning. It might have been the afternoon. Anyway, my little dog is out there and she keeps whining up at the grill. Now we've seen this cat and we think it's pregnant. We've seen it throughout the neighborhood. And at our old
Oh.
house, a cat always would like leave its kitten somewhere, whatever. So I'm like, oh, kittens. So I go to my grill and I'm like peeking up because I don't want to scare her or anything, right? And I'm peeking and I
Uh-huh.
lift it up and it was a rat.
No, it was not.
Not even a field mouse. Don't even. It was a rat.
Like, did you scream? Like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
my
I'm a country girl, right? So like snakes, no big deal. Like bugs, no spiders, nothing. Like it doesn't bother me. But I have this like childhood trauma about mice, and so rats are in that. Oh my gosh, I messaged my husband. He's like, "Do you want me to come home or whatever?" I'm like, so he didn't end up coming home, but yes. So I'm like avoiding my deck at all costs, and I'm like, oh, I'd seen some holes, like so I did some research. I'm like, it's got to be Norway rats, and my husband like he said he believed me. I had seen a rat earlier. I don't know if I told you guys a story that we thought it was a kitten, and it was in the grass, and he's like, "I'll flush it out to you." I'm like, "Okay." It was a rat, but he didn't see it. So in his mind, he's like, it's just a shmoo, which he meant shrew. So that's a big joke for us now that we have shmoos in our yard. Okay,
This just gets
so
better and better. You just keep on coming. This is like comedy gold. I'm serious.
okay, right. So my husband and the guy he does work with, we're talking about, and the guy's like, I bet my paycheck that it is not a rat. It is probably a field mouse, blah, blah.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay.
so we put out this. I did some research because we have animals, right? And so I found different things we can put out that it, like safe, whatever. And so I look out. Our house is like L shaped, and our deck. It's what's under our deck. I say it. I know there's multiple because you never have one. It's like right out our window, like it's right at our house, right? It's not out by the barn, it's like right here. Anyway, so we look out the window this morning to see if they had like disturbed the stuff we put out. As we're looking, my husband's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, there it is. It was like in the grass. I was like, and he didn't see it at first. And he's like, oh, you're right. He's like, oh my gosh, that's huge. I'm like, I told you. And so he's like, I believed you. I'm like, you believe me, but you really didn't believe. He's like, I thought it was a field mouse. I'm like, I'm
Okay,
telling you,
so I
it's
gotta know. So Norway, is it white then?
no.
How do you
Norway rats
no?
are like they burrow in the ground and they look like city rats. And my husband's like, they're smaller than city rats. I'm like, I lived in the city. I don't know, but it's like this big, not counting the tail. No joke. I'm not exaggerating. So Piper says, oh no, Jen, it's just one though, right? Ha ha ha. Baloney. There's never just one mouse or never one rat. They like
I would just like to say that you need to have a sit down with the union rep of the cats, the feral cats in your neighborhood,
why?
because
I know.
why are they not doing their job? Like, is that not the purpose of having feral cats in the city?
Me and my girls drove around Saturday looking for signs that said free kittens. I'm not kidding. Like we can't have cats in the house, but we can totally we have a barn. We can have barn cats, which is a whole nother problem because then the neighbors probably won't be happy.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like I
I mean,
don't
it gets
want
rid of
rats.
it. It's like how you handle the population. You know what I mean? It ends up becoming a little ecosystem, kind of.
Oh, Piper, I see what you wrote there. I do want to discuss book stuff. Let's do that in the next break because
Oh, sorry, we have friends.
we do
Sorry,
have
Piper. I
no.
pretend like it's just me and you. Sorry. Oops.
No, that's okay. So, another 25 minutes of writing, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about book
3,
Bibles. Let's do that.
2,
Oh, awesome.
1, go.
That one went fast. For me, at least, it went fast.
Agree.
What are you working on, Jamie?
Website stuff.
I finally got mine that straightened around, my email straightened around just this morning, figured out what was going on with my email because all that went down with the website. And
did you see my post? Like, I was looking at the word patience today because my website says, thank you for your patience. My website is down. And I'm like, that word just looks spelled wrong or something. And then I got like Axl Rose singing to me, I've been walking the streets at night. You know what I mean? Because that word over and over. What is up with Piper? She's wanting to write a book Bible.
Okay. So
Oh,
let's see.
okay.
She says, I'm trying to decide if I should make some kind of book Bible for the book I'm going to give feedback for. Oh, so not her own book. A lot of work, but might help with some of the confusion, my confusion track. So, all right, I need more information. Like, because to me, a book Bible will be something that person should do. Like if
I
it's
would
fantasy, like, right, like a lot of fantasy, like the big ones will have these book Bibles to help readers figure things out, right? Or keep track.
Yes, because I'm thinking I might need to add a prologue to my book because of some of the early feedback that I've been getting. And so the author would probably really appreciate knowing that you're having a hard time keeping track to the degree that you think you need a Bible. That's exactly the kind of feedback a writer would want, I think,
Yeah,
personally.
agree. I think that's a lot of like work to put on yourself.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know the full circumstances. I don't know like what kind of agreement you have for this feedback, and I don't know like
Yeah, it's
how
really
big of
nice
a
that
Bible.
she's going to do it. I mean, should I send her my book? She could do mine.
Right,
It would
right,
save me a lot of work.
right, exactly. But then again, if the book Bible, you may not get it exactly right. So
Oh,
then
this is true. This
that's
is
be wasting a
true.
lot of your time. Like because if it's
This is
confusing, you
true.
might actually be doing she says, I'm doing an edit, but this is early feedback. Okay.
Ah. Mhm, mhm,
I still
mhm.
yeah. I mean, if it were me, of course, I would probably reach out to them and say you're having this much confusion, thinking that a book Bible would be very helpful. Like Jamie said, I think that would be feedback that they would want.
Yeah, I would want to know that. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
did want, like, I just got that same feedback. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on from, well, different ways from different people,
Mhm.
but just enough for me to feel like, well, do I need to solve this or not? Do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
so I'm thinking that a prologue might be what I need, but this is still germinating because I don't want to do an info dump either, but
Right.
we'll see what happens as I'm shaping the text in its final iteration. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because it
Yeah.
is a balance of don't info dump, but yet you've got to give enough information. Like you want them to piece things together as they're reading it in a creative way. But if it's like if they're like so far in the book and they're still confused, like if it's not piecing together right, then yeah, totally. Pepper says, LOL, I've heard from someone saying her editor did it for her book. Wow. And she found it really helpful. But I think it's because this is a sequel and it has been many months since I read the first one. Yes.
Is that editor who made a book Bible being paid? Because if they're being paid, I would do one for 5 cents a word or something. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's a big ask, huge ask. I would absolutely
Agreed.
be paid if I'm doing a book Bible for someone.
Right. So some of the information is from the first book. I'm not remembering. Yes, there needs to be more carryover. Okay. That's another good thing. That's a good piece of feedback. If it's a sequel and it's been a few months since you read the book, and so some of this information is from the first book, it's possible that information wasn't impactful enough in the first book to stick with you. So it needs to be repeated in the second book. Does that make sense?
If
Like,
I'm the author, like Jen, I'm only sitting here silent because I'm like, please tell me this. So whoever,
yes, it's the stuff you want to know.
yeah, absolutely. Like
So that would be
I have
good.
nothing negative to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is take that what you're saying and put it in a way that they need to hear that. Like if you read the book and you remember things, those are the things that don't have to be repeated. Things that you're like, it's because I haven't read the book in a while. It's because those things need to be repeated. Because the chances of someone sitting down and reading the books, boom, 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 it happens. But there's also a good possibility that there'll be some time period. So it
Well, yeah,
wasn't impactful enough.
especially if the author is going to put book 2 on sale to try to draw sales of book 1 and they're counting on it being standalone, like all those questions we don't know. Do you know what I'm
True.
saying? If this is a
True.
standalone installment, the author needs to know.
Right. She says, like, who people are, where the story was, and where it's
Ah,
at now. So,
tricky.
but still, that needs to be repeated. They need to find a creative way to repeat it without it being an actual repeat. She says, exactly, yes, you get it. Yep. So the feedback that I would be giving them right now is that some of these things were not impactful enough for you to assume that you don't have to repeat it. That's what I would say. Okay, another
All right.
25 minutes. We'll chat again at the end.
All righty, let's rock steady.
I'm editing, and it's going really well. In case, not that anybody asked, but just kidding. Three, two, one, done. That was another quick one. Oh, I also had to go make coffee, so that kind of shortened my editing time down. But coffee.
I was gonna get up and go make coffee, and then I didn't. And then it was 3, 2, 1. So, Jen, what
Yeah.
are you working on today? I love it when you pretend to be sensitive. Like,
Because I'm not, right?
you're just not. No, you're like a seal. You know what I mean? Your skin is just waterproof, Nobody asked me what I'm working on today.
As if
But what
anyone.
are you? Like, seriously.
I'm like the one talking, like as if you get a word in edgewise to ask what I'm working on. I am editing Sarah.
Oh,
And
yay! I
yes,
freaking love that story.
I know.
And I love the whole. Okay, the thing is that it's a mansion at Christmas, and you do
I
this thing where
know.
you describe like the room where the tree, like all of your descriptions of like, I don't know, you say just the right stuff to where you envision this mansion, but you don't over
Oh.
explain it. And I don't like over explaining. So for me to remember means you really made an impression there. And I was only reading like rough, right?
Right, the first
Yeah.
like you were reading sprints and things like that, so that is
Yeah.
a huge compliment. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So it's been edited kind of a little bit, but I'm going through now and doing the first edit, which still, I mean, that's just the first one. There's still going to be a few of these things happening in there,
Yes.
and
Like, sorry, but I just remembered that evil, horrible, like matron person when she like gets there. Like, I'm like
Mrs.
having
Kinley,
trauma flashbacks of this book.
that's awesome. Yeah, there's so many things I love about this book. Like I sometimes I'm looking at this going, I can't believe I'm this good of a writer. I can't believe I wrote this.
I know.
And like
Listen, girl, yes.
coming out of the last book and how, because it was my first, and how hard it was. Like this one is like a breeze, and it's going to be so much easier to edit for my editor. Everything. It's just going to be hopefully a joy. Hopefully, but the problem I'm having with this one is it's much shorter. Now I don't feel like the book. I mean, clearly the books don't have to be the same size because I didn't do that. But this one, it needs to be a little bit beefier, I think. So I'm going through, I'm trying to figure out what did I do differently? What is it lacking? And it might just be like secondary character interaction. Like I think that might be like, we meet Mrs. Tinley, but there's I think I need to maybe marinate there a little bit longer, and so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
like.
Maybe there's a reason Mrs. Tinley is so nasty. Like, because doesn't everybody operate out of a place of hurt if they're nasty?
Yes, that's what I
So,
think too. I like to think that. But I also think it's okay to have some books where you just don't answer those questions. That there's some
yeah, I
characters you just don't like.
know.
That's
So,
okay.
as the author, you have to decide, like, just like you had to decide how many of your 120,000 words you were going to
Yes.
put into your other book.
Because you think about searching for Anna, like we don't know Florence's background. We just hate her, and that's okay. Like it's fun to hate her. So I know.
That's great.
How's
That's
website
great.
stuff going?
Oh,
You
it's
still doing it?
okay. Like, yeah, it's all fine. I mean, okay, like at first I was doing stuff that was annoying. Now I'm just doing stuff that's only annoying because it's like, okay, I do these live sprints, but then I want to put them on my website. Then I actually have to put them on my website. And so if I
Right.
don't do it Friday right away, then I get kind of like behind. So
Right.
I'm going to put them all over there. Like they're findable for people. They're just not on my website. So,
Yeah.
the stuff that I would give to the admin to do.
Yes. What did we decide her name was? Was
Someday.
it Molly? I think we're gonna start calling her
I did
Molly.
Molly works. I don't know.
Sounds like
I
an
don't
admin.
what like blessed are you, like queen, like I don't know, whatever they want me to call them. Seriously, like I will buy them a little tiara to wear every day while they're at work because I'm going to be so thankful for this person. This person is going to be like the best cared for employee in the universe.
For those of you that don't understand what we're talking about, this is our imaginary personal assistant, virtual assistant that someday we're going to hire, and we've named her, and she has a personality. We like because it's our dream. All right, it's 9:30. We got to do. All right. Oh, this is our last sprint. Are you out of here?
Oh yeah, I gotta go.
Aww.
Yeah, because see, that makes sense. I gotta go make my coffee.
That's
all right,
true.
I'll catch you
It's
guys
that time.
later.
All right, bye,
Bye.
Jamie. All right, guys. Another 25 minutes, and then we're going to chat on the end and say goodbye, check in with everybody, and see how y'all did. Hopefully you've been productive. I've been very
3,
productive.
2, 1, go.
Go.
Three, two, one, done.
Done. All right. Wish I had another sprint or two. It always happens that way. I get a slow start and then I'm like, then I get rolling. That's why you do multiple sprints in a row. That's how they work the best. So yeah, I came across a missing chapter, and at first I thought, oh my gosh, I lost it when it uploaded into the new Scrivener, but it's just one I haven't written yet because I realized I was missing something. So that's good. That'll help my length of my book. And so I was just kind of daydreaming about that, and I realized I need to go back in to a previous chapter and do a little bit more description about a certain person because it's going to affect this chapter that I am writing. So that's what I did. What did you guys do? Curious to see what you guys accomplished in this sprint today. While I look this up right here, I just want to make sure that I have, let's see. It's a picture that she's looking at. She doesn't know who it is, but it's going to play in later. I guess I'll have to find it later. Yeah. So what all did you guys get done today? I'm curious to know that. I have to go out and check on the chickens again. We built a bigger brooder and they're in our garage and they have more space now because we still have to build they're not quite big enough to put in the coop anyway, but we need to finish building the coop. And the ducks are in the backyard. The ducks are like so easy. Like, yes, they're much messier than chickens, but they stay together and they're very social. So they stay together and they love their little pool that we have out there. So, and they love to eat. I did corral them with this little fence that we have, so they're going to be fine. But the rats are back there. Like, I know they're going to stay down there, but just the fact to see like how brave it was just coming out, like, I just don't even want to deal it. Ugh. Piper says, I've decided to start at least jotting down when people showed up and what is said about their backstory to give better feedback. Oh, that's a good idea. Just a few handwritten notes, not a whole Bible. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's a really great idea. So, when I don't do feedbacks. Like I will in writing group if somebody brings like a piece like for us to read and then we give feedback right then. But like I'm not great at beta reading. I'm not really good at like giving feedback like that. But I do that with my closest writing friends because I know them. I know their writing. But anyway, it's just it's one of those things that like I think some people have it and some people don't. But like Jamie has sent me things before and so has Tina and others, but I love that in Google Docs I can highlight it and make notes that are off to the side so that like every time I just have one of those thoughts like when did they show up and that like that. So like I have this like running kind of commentary that I can actually go back and take things out if I didn't read long enough and then I'm like, oh, there's the answer and then go back and take it out. So that's really cool. So Piper says, but also I might listen so I can hear the story without getting sidetracked by the grammar, etc. So you're only at the point of listening to the story. You're not looking for mistakes. I get it. It's so hard for me. I can't do that. I find the mistakes. It's really hard for me if somebody brings something rough to writing group. It's a place I can use my number one strength as a developer, helping other authors. Good. See, that's awesome to know our strengths. That's like the best. That's really cool, especially when you can work within your strengths. So. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to get on out of here. And today is going to be a deep cleaning of the house. Okay, she says a developmental edit feedback. My developmental edits, like I give the cleanest possible version to my developmental editors. So the editor, so I get the feedback I'm looking for. Like to me, that's important. I still get the, hey, this part isn't working or plot hole problems like that. And then I go back and fix them. But overall, I don't have like to have someone else do all that stuff too, if that makes sense. Have a great day, Piper. Everyone else is here. Really appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning doing this again at 8 a.m. So we'll see you then. Bye.